around Spurs, around Pochettino's situation. Did anything about them surprise you tonight?
I don't think it surprised me. I think the thing that surprised me was in some ways that, not surprised me, the thing that I think they would have wanted more of, Harry Kane 1 touch in the box. I think Lamela and Maura between them had 3. So 4 touches in the box between their front 3. And that's the problem that City, we said before the games, that you feel like you can get at them, but you can't, and you're living off moments, 2 or 3 moments in the match. Harry Kane has a moment. Lamela has a moment there. Sissoko in the first half when he went through. So if you could say against Manchester City, you're going to have 3 decent chances, real big chances, you're going to have to take 1 or 2 of them. And they didn't do. So it was probably the game that Tottenham expected, but didn't take the chances that they had in the game. It
seems really strange talking about a difficult Tottenham moment, given it's their best start ever to a Premier League season, but we're only reflecting what the manager's been talking about, really.
It is a great start, but everyone else has made a lot of teams have made a better start. It is the best start they've made for a long time, but I just go back to what we spoke about at the start of the show. We're talking about a team who had more players going to the end of the World Cup than anyone. They didn't recruit in the summer. And the team we're looking at now, I feel as if that was the team I was watching 2 years ago, which was brilliant, almost won the title with Leicester 2 or 3 years ago. And it hasn't changed too much. And I just think, you know, you stand still, you fall behind, and I don't think it's sustainable what they spend on the transfer market and getting into the Champions League year in, year out. That is not down to the sort of great business sense of the club or the board. That's to do with the brilliance of Pochettino and the players that they have at this moment, what he's actually getting out of them. But to keep competing with the teams like Man City, other teams who think they're going for the title or the top 4, to keep getting into the top 4 with that spending, I don't think it's sustainable over, further down the line.
Before tonight was Tottenham's best ever start to a league season since, I think, 50 years. So we shouldn't get tired just because we're a little bit bored of them not quite getting up there. It's still very good at Tottenham and what they're doing. What I would say is...
Well, how do they ever go again? Are we just going to sit here for the next 10 years and say the same thing about Tottenham? Well done getting the Champions League. Is there not another level? And eventually Wenger goes. So what I'm saying is eventually you have to go somewhere.
You're talking like every single team has a right to win the Premier League title.
No, I didn't.
No, what I'm saying to you is Liverpool haven't won a title for 30-odd years.
Yeah, but they're trying. They're trying. They may not happen. Are they really giving absolutely everything for Pochettino, Harry Kane, the players that they have?
What you're asking for is a club who have probably got £400 or £500 million, a couple of £100 million in a stadium, £400 million in debt, growing every single day by the fact it's going over, and you're asking them to spend more money. You can't make them do that. What I would say is a bit of a worry, I would say, is Mauricio Pochettino's comments. Because I did say before the game it's the first bricks in the foundation of potentially wanting to leave. And during the game tonight, the Real Madrid coach has been sacked. Now, if you're Real Madrid and you're thinking, where can I get a manager? Where's the next manager? He speaks Spanish. He's been a coach in La Liga. Mauricio Pochettino's, whether he's been tapped up or not, that is an appealing job for anybody in world football.
But if he gets more money at Tottenham, is it less appealing? He might actually want to stay at Tottenham and think, I can actually do big things.
I said before the game tonight, he knew the ground rules before he came in. He knew he wasn't going to get £400, £500, £600 million when he went to Tottenham.
I don't think he wants that.
He took the job knowing what Daniel Levy, what the board at Tottenham, what the restrictions were. He knew that. So my view is, now he probably wants that next level of job because he deserves it, because he's a brilliant coach. What I would say is now that next level of job is available at, you could argue, the greatest club in the history of football, Real Madrid. So my view is that's where now the manager's probably thinking, actually, is this now the time for me to step out? I think Tottenham, if Real Madrid wants him, will have a real problem in the next few days. I don't think they do. We're just sitting here tonight thinking, putting 2 and 2 together. Where did those comments come from? You said timing. Why now? Well, is why now because there's a job become available?
Are you saying it's never going to happen for Mauricio Pochettino at Spurs?
When you say never going to happen, are they going to win the league? They're not going to win the league, no. They're not going to win the league. Tottenham never won the league in my lifetime. So why would we be shocked sat here now thinking they're going to win the league?
I don't think that's... I totally agree. Do I ever see Tottenham winning the league? No. You've just mentioned Liverpool going a long time without the league. But if you look at both clubs, at least me being a Liverpool supporter, I'm looking at it thinking, they're trying to win the league. I think Tottenham are happy with top 4, and it's just like, oh, got the money for the top 4, that'll pay for the stadium, it'll pay for this, it means we won't have to spend much. We don't need to sign anyone in the summer because we've got this good squad, we've all got new contracts, whatever. At least teams are actually, it's not about they have to win, actually try and win. Tottenham can't win if they don't bring a player in the summer, win the league or go for things. They can't.
They're looking after the long-term future by basically building a stadium. No, what I'm saying to you is Tottenham, for 30 years of our lives were spineless and soft, flaky, rubbish. You could be 2-0 up against them and think you'd win 5-2. That's just the way they were. You just knew that basically one little bit of a sort of a bump during the game and they'd just fall over it. They were pathetic. And basically now we've got the toughest, most resilient, robust Tottenham team that we've ever seen. We shouldn't get tired of them and start...
Well, give them a bit of help. No. So the best team they've had for 30 years, the best manager they've had for 30 years, they're not spineless, they've got a toughness, they've got top players. Why not try and push it an extra level?
The players they probably want to improve that team... Liverpool go and spend £65 million on a goalkeeper. United go and give Sanchez...
Where did Liverpool get the money from?
Hang on a second.
Where did Liverpool get this money
United
from,
go and give
Gary?
Sanchez 400 grand a week. Chelsea go and spend £70 million a goal. Tottenham not going to do that.
Tottenham missed out on Mane through wages. Wijnaldum, wages, both at Liverpool. Harry Maguire could have gone there and got more wages at Leicester. Because they're not prepared to push the... Now, these are really good players playing. Well, Harry Maguire's at Leicester, what he done in the summer. You think of the impact Mane's had. They bought Sissoko for the same price as Mane. Maybe Sissoko's wages were cheaper. Mane's a far better player than Sissoko.
But answer this question, Gary. Liverpool were able to generate some funds by selling one of their best players, Coutinho, to Barcelona. Might Spurs be in a better shape if there's certainly not going to be a pot of gold dumped on Daniel Levy's doorstep from the great owner to sell one or two of these players to reinvest in the squad? Might that actually give them a better chance?
No, but
They've done that with Kyle Walker. Didn't work.
I know. We sit here, or we hear people talk regularly about how we don't like clubs who basically spend more than they should do, and they don't sort of... Tottenham had to run the club very well. They run the club very well. I said before the game, he's the best operator in football, Daniel Levy. He works within... What are you shaking your head at?
I'm shaking my head at... When you say the best...
He's the best operator in football. He works with...
Because they've got a net spend of 20 million.
He doesn't get... Hang on. He doesn't get messed around by agents. He doesn't get messed around by managers. He doesn't get messed around by players. He's all on long-term contracts. He very rarely loses them on a free transfer like some clubs have in the last few years, you know, namely Arsenal and Liverpool at times over the last 10, 15 years. My point is that he runs the club very well under a budget. You can't be critical of that. That's what their budget is. It's like saying to somebody in the street that can have a house at that level, oh, you just go and do that. No. You can't.
What was the actual figure? I can't even remember.
29 million.
29 million. They're in the Champions League every year. You've got Premier League money. How can you only spend 29 million? Stoke spend 60 million. They're in the Championship.
Have you not worked out the stadium cost 600 million quid? Have you not
this
worked
is
out
4 years ago.
Well, hang on a minute. The stadium's not been finished. It's only even 50 million over budget.
It's only just started now, hasn't it?
Oh my God! You don't just add the stadium. So the money's been tied up now. You get planning permission. They've known that for 4 or 5 years their budget on that stadium of £500-600 million was going to be tied up. They've also had a shock in the last 12 months that it's £100 million over budget, and that's probably taken away more of their playing budget than they imagined. They've had to react to that. They can't just spend £500-600 million on a stadium.
I'm not saying where are you getting £500 or £600 million?
Well,
you can't spend 29 million net Pochettino in 4 years. That can't be right for Tottenham. The best team they've ever had for 30 years since you go back to the early 80s, best manager they've had in that time. This is all going to fall away soon. Pochettino's going to move on, one of the players are going to move on, and they'll look back at this time, an opportunity...
What are you advocating? They spend more than they afford?
So they couldn't match wages for Mane. Harry Maguire going to Leicester. I'm not talking about spending £100 million on a player. I know they're not that club.
What part of spending £500-600 million on a stadium
don't
you keep
saying £500 or £600 million?
What's it cost? An extra 100. It's not cost them a tenner.
Careful. We could go all night with this. We probably will.
Says the fella who got Peter Lim to fund Salford.
We still spend within a budget.
You're talking to a property
manager,
you realise here as well, by the way.
Something. Liverpool have built a new stand at Anfield. No, Liverpool have spent new stand at that. I don't know what it costs. 50 million, 60 million, 80 million, 100 million. Right, if they had to spend 600 million on a new stadium and move away from Anfield, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing now. What part of that don't you understand?
I do understand it.
Thank you.
You keep going saying £500 or £600 million as if that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, can they push the boat out a little bit further for a manager and a set of players with the best that they've got? Push the boat out a little bit. More wages to Harry Maguire going to Leicester. How can that happen? Tottenham Hotspur.
You can only spend what you've got.
All right, we will leave it there. We'll park it.